Now, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this video, and please welcome back once again to my channel. Just in case you are here for the first time, please support me by subscribing, and also you can press the notification bell so that YouTube can automatically update you by sending you the notifications immediately I post a video here. Otherwise, I really want to appreciate my subscribers so much, because without the support, this channel cannot be where it is currently. So feel very much welcome as you watch, and I really don't take your support for granted. So Raila Odinga officially announced the return of the mass actions and the demonstrations across the country simply because President William Ruto refused to meet with him physically for negotiations, but opted for the bipartisan approach talks that will be conducted by the representatives of both parties, the Azimio and the Kenya Kwanza Alliance, in Parliament. So let me just read for you this statement made by the ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna before we proceed, saying that we are returning to the rallies because the Kenya Kwanza side has shown a lack of commitment to the bipartisan negotiations. So from this statement, Edwin Sifuna is trying to tell us one of the reasons as to why they are returning to the mass actions and to the rallies to be conducted across the country, simply because the Kenya Kwanza Alliance government has shown lack of commitment to the bipartisan approach. I don't know how he will explain that, but also, ladies and gentlemen, that is why some of Raila Odinga's closest allies are out there insulting the Kenya Kwanza Alliance leaders. I want you to listen to this clip by Babu Wino very briefly before we proceed with our analysis for today.
And the roadside declarations which are being made by Mr. Rigathi are very unfair, are belittling and undermining the sovereignty of Kenyan citizens. And I want to remind him that he should stop such roadside declarations, because this nation is not about him as Rigathi. Number one, he's very unwashed, he's very agricultural, he's very uncouth, he's very unkempt, and he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. That is one of the maxims of equity. And number two, there's a principle called in law, volenti non fit injuria, that they are contributing to their own injury by making these inflammatory remarks that is annoying, that does not go well with the spirits of Kenyans. That's causing a lot of consternation and discombobulation of spirits among Kenyans. And therefore, holding public barazas and or holding town hall meetings only satisfies one of the requirements of the...
But one of the reasons as to why Raila Odinga had to call off the mass actions across the country previously, it is because, first of all, the pressure from the US delegates and the diplomats who were sent by the US President himself, Joe Biden, led by the US Senator or the Delaware Senator, Chris Coons, and other international communities, simply because these mass actions that were conducted by Raila Odinga were also affecting the businesses of the foreign investors. And that is why the international communities went ahead also to threaten Raila Odinga so that he can call off the mass action across the country. I remember they told Raila Odinga that, first of all, they will have to impose, or they will impose the foreign sanctions to Raila Odinga so that they can penalize him and punish him for what will happen in the mass action, the destructions of the properties. Raila Odinga will have to take charge of that, because there are his own people who are participating in the demonstrations. They are not participating in the peaceful mass actions across the country, and they are out there to steal for others, to demolish other people's properties, destruction of properties. Also, ladies and gentlemen, because of the killings that will take place during the mass actions across the country, Raila Odinga will have to take charge of that. And also, ladies and gentlemen, majority of the people who will be injured during the mass actions, the Azimio la Umoja Alliance supporters, Raila Odinga will have to account for all these losses, the destruction of properties, loss of lives and people injured. That is why Raila Odinga had to call off the mass actions, because these are the basic things that would have led the international communities to impose the foreign sanctions to Raila Odinga, to penalize him and to punish him for what will happen to the mass actions across the country. Secondly, ladies and gentlemen, the international communities threatened to revoke Raila Odinga's passport, and especially the US delegates and the diplomats who were sent by the US President Joe Biden himself. They threatened Raila Odinga to take or to revoke his passport, meaning Raila Odinga will not have been granted permission to get out of the country, and also he will not have received foreign medications that just in case anything happens to him. And that is why Raila Odinga made a statement that we cannot be ruled by the Western countries, simply because Raila Odinga was bitter about the reaction or the consequences of the mass actions that will be conducting across the country. He had to say that will not be led by the foreign countries, will not be anything that we do. Kenya is actually a democratic state, and therefore whatever we do, international communities must not get involved. That is what Raila Odinga had to say after this information was reached out to him from the US President Joe Biden. And also, ladies and gentlemen, finally, it is because of the ICC threats. Remember that the ICC are inside here, the country, to monitor very closely Raila Odinga's political events, political moves, including the mass actions and everything negative or the negative impacts of Raila Odinga's political moves and threats and intimidations that he has been causing to the president here in Kenya. So the ICC actually had received a letter from President William Ruto and also the Kenya Kwanza allies requesting for them to get close and to monitor very closely Raila Odinga's political moves. And immediately Raila Odinga heard about these issues, the impose his foreign sanctions to be imposed on him, and also his passport will be revoked, and finally the ICC threats. And that is why Raila Odinga had to call off the mass actions across the country previously. So immediately Raila Odinga will begin or will return to the streets, to the mass actions. Ladies and gentlemen, I expect the international communities now to react, and I don't see a place whereby Raila Odinga will have to call the mass actions. I think these are just threats. The reason as to why I'm saying this is mainly the big issue here is about financing of the mass actions. The people who used to finance or to sponsor Raila Odinga's mass actions across the country, I personally believe that they have already defected. One of them was Uhuru Kenyatta and the Kenyatta's family, and some of the Mount Kenya tycoons and the mafia from the Mount Kenya region, the billionaires who used to, or the business billionaires who used to fund Raila Odinga for their own personal interest. They are already defected. I will still do a critical analysis for today concerning that issue in my next video. So always keep it here, keep it locked. Until next time, my name is Json. That was my analysis for today. What can you say about this? Let me hear your thoughts on the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Bye bye.